Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we are working on the Splendid Sampler 2. So we're going through this whole book. We're a little over halfway through, and we are working on the Come Together block. So this is where we left off last month. We got a bunch of little baby pieces here, and we're going to start sewing them together tonight. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. I'm here for about an hour, and I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way. Again, tonight we are working on the Come Together block. There's another example there. And we have all the pieces cut, and we're going to start assembling them tonight. So it's been a while since we've worked on this, so we'll have to kind of suss out what we got going on here, and we'll see what we got. So thank you guys for joining me here. All right. So here we go. Just a reminder, you guys, that today is the last day for our materials sale. And you can get all the floss, even the giant cones of floss, and all of our other supplies from our supplies section for 20% off on the Penguin and Fish site right now. So that's through midnight tonight, and then that ends. And then also we have our Embroidery of the Month, which are these cute little winter icons. We got the Merry, and then we have the Snowy. And we're actually going to stitch a little earlier this month. I'm actually going to start on Wednesday. So what I think I'm going to do is we will pick little icons and stitch them on some different things. I think I would like to, on Wednesday, I'd like to make some like gift tags. So like picking out our favorite winter icons, holiday icons, and make some gift tags for some family members, just picking and choosing it. So we'll go through that whole process this week. So we'll be stitching on this week, starting Wednesday, and also next week as well. We'll make these little icons, turn them into stuff. But I'm just like looking. I just love that little wreath. It's so cute. They're all just so fun. So that's the Merry one again. All those little guys. So bundles of these are available now, as well as the PDF pattern. But yeah, a little cardinal guy and a little chickadee ice skate. Anyway, I want to share those with you guys. So that's in the shop right now too. And all of those bundles are on sale when you buy multiple of them as well. So all right, you guys. Yeah, I just think those small icons are just going to be really neat for, itty bitty small projects that need to get done yet. All right, I am just going through this. I already don't know where this one goes. Oh, this is a corner here. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what is it that we even have going on here. So I believe this goes here. Oh no, I think the whites go on the middle. So let's just lay this out. We're a lot farther than I thought. I thought we had to do a whole bunch of half square triangles and stuff. We might... Oh, no, here we go. We do have to do a bunch of half square triangles. So we got these guys done. Oh, now it's coming together. We have to make the flying geese units yet. And another thing tonight is that I checked my bobbin. I have hardly any bobbin thread left. So, and I don't want to wind it on this machine because it makes it my motor pulley too smooth, so it doesn't work very well. If I had to guess, these go with this and these goes with this. I think my past self is trying to help present self by placing these together, which would make sense. I wouldn't do the same color onto here. So all right, let's just kind of assume that we're like this. I'll read the instructions too. So the two marked F. Blech. I didn't write down any notes on what colors are what. So we're just going to look at pictures instead. All right, so we have some cues. I have white here. So this looks like it should be white. Okay, so this. So these guys go here, and then these guys go on the outside a little bit more. Okay, we got it. So I'm going to make flying geese units out of this. So I've been winding my floss, or winding my bobbins on my other sewing machine, but it doesn't have the same size bobbin, so it's kind of a hassle, and I have to trick it a little bit, and I gotta hold everything down so they don't fly everywhere, so it's kind of a pain. But yeah, so I'll have to wind some more bobbins before tomorrow, because I think we're gonna run out tonight. If we run out, we'll play around with something else. Okay, so we're gonna make flying geese units out of this, which means I've already drawn the line on here, so you can see I drew a diagonal line. What I'm gonna do is have that line go from a tip to the center, and we are going to sew exactly on that line. So I'm just going to place them. We should have 8 of these, so I'm going to place them on my 4 pieces here. We're just going to place all 4 because I'll sew them one after each other, and then we will press it, and then we'll do the other side. And actually, we got to make these flying geese units too, so I can do it all at once, really. Although we might only get a bunch of half of a flying geese unit done if I run out of bobbin. But, oh well. So here's our second set with the other color. Again, we've already marked the back with a diagonal. On the diagonal. So I'm placing them all, the squares, on the right side right now. Oh, cool! Lisa says, I bought the Swan embroidery bundle and sewed it onto a gray tea towel, and it's so regal looking. Ooh, I bet on a gray tea towel. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I bet you that looks awesome, Lisa. That sounds really nice. I know, Colleen. I know. I meant to oil the machine and run the bobbins over the weekend, and then I meant to do it earlier today, and it just didn't get done either times. I didn't forget. I just didn't get to it. I didn't forget. It just didn't get prioritized, and then right before I came on here, I checked the bobbin, and that's, yeah, hardly anything. All right, I'm going to sew directly on all these lines. Again, we'll see how far we get with the bobbin. Yep. So it goes sometimes, I guess. Definitely did not forget, just didn't do it, I guess. All right. If anything, I'm going to err on being just a hair to the side that's going to be like the outward side. Ooh, not that far outward though. It's fine, we'll fix it when we press it. Alright, so another trick for doing these triangles is sew from the middle out to the point. So you're sewing where you have a nice long edge here versus sewing this direction where you just have this little point. When you sew with just a little point like this, the needle's going to want to push it down into the machine like this, and you might get like a big hairy monster happening, and it might get stuck. So a way to combat that is to sew this way. So where you have this long strip, so here out to the point. Then it has more to grab, so it won't be able to push it down into the machine. So I always go from in the middle out. It actually makes a huge difference. I mean, give it a try going the other direction for a little while from the point, and you'll see your machine might just start eating it. And it's annoying. That's not fun. We're going to just get a long chain going here. Because we got these 4 and we got the other 4. So these are called flying geese units. When we're done, we will have a triangle on either side of the rectangle. So we have our rectangle, we'll have a triangle there, and we'll have a triangle on the other side as well. So we're going to do the diagonal on the other direction. And it'll be just like this. So it's supposed to look kind of like an arrow, and you have a bunch of them next to each other, and then it just looks like a row of geese flying in the sky. You know, because they all fly one after each other in a little diamond. So I'm only assuming that's where it gets its name, but it's a pretty common unit in quilt blocks. So you'll see this a lot. They sneak up in quilt blocks. Sometimes you don't even realize they're a flying geese unit. It just looks like it's part of a star, which is kind of how it looks like in our block here. But sometimes you just put them all in a row, and they're just really pretty. I think it's one of my favorite units. A little flying geese unit. All right, we're good there. And you know what? Just for the sake of saving bobbin thread, I don't think I'm going to put a leader on. I think I'm going to just iron all the rest of these and just start up the next batch without this one being done, and then we'll come back and do that one, I think. So we're going to be a little weird tonight, but again, it's just because I have very limited bobbin. All right, so here's this. Let's shush this guy over. I'm going to get my pressing mat out here. First of all, we got to snip all these. So I'm just separating them. Again, we only have 3 of these because one's still on the machine. So it's a little odd way of doing it. Okay, so the typical way of doing this now is to cut off the excess. So you'd cut it so you only got like that, your 1/4 inch from the seam there. Maybe I'll show you on this one because it's a little bit easier to see. You'd cut this off with a rotary cutter or with your scissors, and you'd have this, and then you'd press this up, and then that's your first unit. However, I like doing it the opposite way. I like pressing it first, and my mom told me this trick. So pressing it first, because with it not cut yet, so I still have my edge here, because then I can actually line up these edges that I'm folding with these edges that I haven't cut off yet, and that will make sure that I got my rectangle here all perfect yet. Without this here, like if that wouldn't be here, I wouldn't know where to press. I would just be pressing blindly and hoping that it was in just the right spot. But with leaving these here and cutting them later, I can just like push the fabric just to where it needs to be along that edge of the rectangle there. So I'm going to press all these first, and then we'll go back and we'll cut them after. So I'm just kind of placing kind of the tip down there. This will correct some of my sewing if I sewed if I veered along the edge a little bit. Jennifer, I see your comments. Okay, so we should have 4 of these and 3 of the other ones because I have the one on the machine yet. Maybe I'll do another one of these quick just so I can take the last one off the machine. Get that one ready and done too. Whew, warm. All right, this one's really subtle. It's a cream and a white, but my whole quilt is a little bit more subtle than I normally go. So I think that's kind of fun. It's very subtle in the example one in the book too. And by subtle, I mean low contrast. Like there's not much to differentiate the one fabric to the next. Like if you squint, it looks like the same color, really. So we're kind of mimicking what they're doing in the book. All right, so we got those all pressed, and now I'm gonna just grab my scissors, and we're actually gonna flip back what we just pressed because we don't want to cut that off. And now we're gonna cut off this excess about 1/4 inch away there, and then we can fold this back, and that's our final part of this piece. If you're not comfortable using a scissors, then you would just flip this back, put your ruler, use the seam as your ruler line, and then, rotary cut 1/4 inch away. But I just think it's so much faster just plopping the scissors in there. But again, if you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. Just don't forget to pull that top back, because it's not fun when you accidentally cut off your front, and you gotta redo it. Gotta cut a new piece then. Hey Darlene, thanks for joining us. I'm just getting going. And I don't know how long I will be sewing this tonight. Like I was saying earlier, I'm running on borrowed time with this bobbin. I checked the bobbin before coming on, and I have like barely any thread left on it. And I don't really want to wind anymore tonight because I have to get out the whole other machine, and it's a whole to-do. So we'll go as long as we can tonight, and then we'll finish this up tomorrow if that's the case. I got a little like goop on here. There we got it. Okay, I'm going to take just this one just so you can see a little bit easier. But what we're going to do is take our second piece, and this diagonal is going this way, so our next diagonal is going to go from the opposite corner and up to the middle, so that when we fold it, we get this. We don't want it. You don't want to accidentally go, in the same. You don't want it to go parallel to what you just did, because then you're going to get this, which is actually kind of cool, but not what we're going for here. So we're going to point it towards the middle and to the opposite corner there. And so we're going to sew that. I'm going to sew this one really quickly so I can get my last piece off the machine, and so we can press that and everything, and then we'll match up the pieces on all of them. But we'll just do this one. Again, I didn't use my leader because I didn't want to waste bobbin thread. So again, I'm going to sew from the middle out versus how you would naturally sew it at this point, with the excess over here. Then I have that point going towards the machine, and that's it's gonna push it down in the machine. So going from the middle where there's this long edge out is gonna keep it from the machine eating everything. Okay, let's get this piece off, and this is our last piece. Let's press and trim off the excess, and then we'll match up all of our other pieces. All right, let's give it a little press. Oh, I'm glad you like this way of making it. I definitely think this is a good tip. Again, Mom showed me this, but yeah, then you can really make sure you maintain the original shape of the rectangle, because you're using what's already there as guides. That's not the typical way of doing this. Usually they'll have you trim off the excess and then press, but I like pressing first and then trimming off. I mean, you do have to kind of fold this back, which is weird, but I do like being able to line up the edge. Okay, So there's the rest of our pieces. What did I do with the rest of these? Oh, right there. Okay, let's just, we can leave the mat here. Let's just line them up on the mat. So I'm just, I want to line up the other half of our triangles, or our squares, all at once, so I can just sew one after each other. Again, until we run out of floss. So we've already marked the diagonal on this. That's really the easiest way, is just to mark a diagonal. You can also fold your pieces in half and then just use the folded mark if you don't want to write on it, but I think this is easiest. I just used a pencil, a normal like mechanical pencil. All right. And these cream and white ones. Okay, we have 4 and we only have 3 here because one's already on the machine. There's actually 4 of each. Ooh, I'm excited. The last Aurifil block is going to come next week, I think. Just got excited about that. Man, our last Aurifil block of the month. That's crazy. It's going to be a new year. All right, again, I'm going from the middle out. Just get my stiletto here to help poke things into place. This is that pretty batik fabric. Oh, I'm just so nervous about my bobbin. Oh, man. So the other thing I kind of wanted to do is I have a whole pile of fabric scraps near me here, and they're getting kind of scary. Like, they're getting a lot. I pulled all the fabric scraps that were kind of laying around the house and brought them all here, and I kind of want to organize them by color, because I was working on that one that was made out of all of the granny square quilt scraps, and those were those pretty blues, and I'm like, you know what, this improv piecing looks really nice with like a cohesive color scheme like that. So I thought I'd kind of separate all my scraps into kind of similar colors. So that's something I'd love to do yet here. So if we run out of bobbin, I might do that. And I have for the little stringy salvages and stuff, I want to turn those into pom-poms. So maybe we'll make some pom-poms and separate some stuff. But you know what? I might not run out of bobbin yet. We'll see. We will see. All right, I still have that one on the machine. Just because, like I said, I don't want to waste the bobbin thread, so we'll just leave that one, move on to the next step, and then the moment we take that off, we'll just jump back and finish it, and then keep moving on with the next step. So it's a little disjointed, but again, I'm saving every inch of bobbin thread I can tonight here. All right, so same deal. I'm going to leave my edge on, and I'm going to press and line up that edge with this edge that I'm folding over, and I can use that outer edge as a guide. It even helps to finger press it, and then press it. That's our guide on the outside there. Ooh, and there we go. Flying geese unit looking all cute. I'll show you, you know how I was saying how it looks so cool. You really get the effect of the flying geese when they're all lined up. I'll show you that once I get these other ones pressed. Then you'll see, oh yeah, that does look like a row of geese flying. Ooh, this one's dirty. Oh, I think I remember it being dirty, and I was going to have it on the outside, so we were going to just cut it off, but oh well, it's part of the quilt now. I think most of it will actually go in the seam allowance when we're done, so I'm not too worried. Oh, here, I'll start lining them up like flying geese units, all in a row. There, this is getting that like flying geese look, if you can see it here. You know, you got them all in a row, so it looks like geese flying right after each other, like they do in the sky. So I think this is really beautiful when it's used for like borders and just anywhere in a quilt. I just always liked rows and rows of flying geese units. I don't think I've ever done a quilt like that. Actually, I know I haven't. I would love to do something like that, just with a whole pile of flying geese. And I love when they kind of switch colors in quilts a little bit, but they still keep the pattern. I just think that's just so neat. Oh, you guys, we bought pizza tonight from our favorite pizza place. We're getting worried. We're like, we cannot have that pizza place go under. We have to order pizza from it. And they just have pickup. They don't have delivery or anything. But John went to pick it up today, and I guess they have a whole like frozen pizza section now. So I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna have to go get a pile of frozen pizzas from them, because dang, they make some good pizza, and if we can just heat it up, that'd be pretty cool. Have those in the freezer instead of just grocery store ones. All right, there's our flying geese units, but we gotta still trim out that excess, or a seam allowance will be. And if you forget, all that will happen is you sew it in. You'll just have a couple other layers of fabric sewn into the quilt, so it'll just be a little thicker. So not the end of the world if you forget to do this part. Not the end of the world. So I'll probably keep these just because I don't know, I'm getting a little obsessive about keeping these scraps now. I should probably just toss them, but I don't know. They're just just big enough that I could sew them back together into some half square triangle units. Itty bitty 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 ones. Alright, so we'll start laying this out. I do have that one to do here yet, but I want to sew something first to get that off the machine so I'm not wasting bobbin thread again. Ugh, before going to bed tonight, I'll try and get some more bobbin thread. Because it'll be a really long day tomorrow, so I'll have to make sure that I have some before tomorrow. Stay up a little bit and do that. Okay, my little stack of triangles. All right, let's see what we do with these now. Okay, so it looks like join the flying geese units in pairs to make 4 units that measure 2.5 inches. Okay, so I think if I look at the picture, we want it like this. So our white piece, our white piece is going to be touching this square, and this will go out one more level like that, so these connect. So all right, so here's just because I can't quite tell from the pictures and I didn't write down what letter corresponds with each color, so this is what we're going for. So we want the dark color on top and the light color on the bottom, and we want them to make like these arrows of the cream. and then the one still on the machine. So, all right, we will put these together. I'm going to put the light colored on top, and the reason is that we can see that seam there. The idea is that we're going to sew right through that seam, hopefully, or get really close. So at our 1/4 inch seam allowance, so that when we fold this back, we don't clip our corner. Like, we don't want it to be like that where we've sewn too much and now we don't have that point there anymore. We'd like it to be like right on it if possible. So by being able to see where they crisscross, we should be able to kind of aim for that. So that's why I want that piece on top. So we'll do this piece first, then we'll take this off the machine and maybe quickly finish it, and then do the other 3 here. So again, a little awkward order tonight, but we're saving ourselves some bobbin. Okay. So this looks pretty far over, so we might actually have some extra here. Yeah, we're not really close to that point at all, are we? Oh well, we're just going to go with it. Actually, I probably should have trimmed these 1.5 by 2.5 inches. Let's just sew to the end. This one might be just an awkward one. Let's measure these. I'm wondering if these needed to be trimmed down. Okay, so 1.5 by 2.5 inches. Okay, yeah, they're quite a bit bigger. So here we go. So here's my 1/2 inch and then 2 inches. So we have like a full 1/4 inch more than what we need. So okay, these need to be trimmed. So should I take that one off the machine? Ugh, I don't know. We might just have one awkward one that I'll have to trim down. We'll see. Let's finish this guy first now that I can take him off the machine, and we gotta spend some time trimming these. Oh well. Jumped ahead. All that trimming and pressing always messing me up. All I want to do is sew. Ah, well. We'll let that one be. If we run out of bobbin, if we don't run out of bobbin yet, then maybe I'll get the seam ripper out and we'll try that one again. All right, here's our last flying geese unit. Okay, 1.5 inches by 2.5. So I'm going to get my little rotary cutter out here. Actually, I might have an itty bitty, oh I do. So I do have a little 2.5 inch ruler. Maybe that will come in handy here. Then we can kind of center it, because we're going to need that corner, that point centered. That point needs to be in the center and a 1/4 inch from the top. So that means we need to be, like 1 1/4. 1 1/4, and then also a 1/4 inch from the top. So right about there. Then we need our diagonal to be on yet too. So I'm making sure that I cross through all the right points here. Okay, that looks real good right there. Let's hold that, and I'll get my glove. And I'll get a rotary cutter. Maybe this is why I don't do flying geese units a lot. Okay, I think I got a little off here. 1 1/4. Alright, I'm on all those diagonals. There's some thickness here, so my ruler wants to wobble a bit. Okay, so I'm going to do this edge quick just because I kind of used it in my measurement. And I have that 2.5 inch ruler, so I'm a little bit lucky. And then we still need the 1.5 on this side. All right. This is going to look much more like how it's supposed to. There we go. Yeah, oh my gosh, look at the size difference. So we went from this size to this size, so much smaller. That's why my piece that I sewed is going to be super duper awkward. So I guess we just keep trimming. We're going to have to spend time. We've got to do 7 more of those, so let's just do it. I suppose it doesn't matter which order I go in. We'll do this orange one next. Oh, I'm telling you, man. All this cutting is always my least favorite part on any project, I think. So you don't need a rotary cutter and you don't need a perfectly sized ruler like this, but it sure is handy. Especially when it's in arm's length away. All right, now 1.5. Use a little half mark over here. Might just be doing this the rest of the night. We won't need the rest of our bobbin. Hope we get to sew some more still yet, though. Not just cutting forever. I feel so much safer with these gloves. I am starting to repot a cactus just because it was going to fall over. It's one of those like columnar cactuses, or just, a tall cactus, and it was not in good shape. We've had it for a while, and it just was looking super sad. So this weekend, I Googled... I figured you could do this, but it seemed pretty drastic. I Googled, can you cut up a cactus and replant it? And Google, the interwebs, told me I could actually chop up one of these tall cactuses and replant it. And it recommended it like callousing over first, so I think it's just to that point. And we actually had to order some more dirt. We don't have any more cactus dirt, but I'm gonna see if this tall cactus that was super wonky and damaged and looked like it was gonna fall over, I'm gonna see if it grows again in these 4 chopped up parts. Kind of curious. So but why I bring that up is I used these gloves to handle the cactus, and it worked great because it's got like this rubber side to it, and they're supposed to be like, things aren't supposed to poke through or whatever. They worked pretty dang well handling a super duper spiky cactus. So I'm feeling good wearing these gloves. I haven't actually cut my, like I haven't like brushed, I haven't had like a, I haven't tempted fate with them yet. I haven't actually cut myself with the rotary cutter, and I don't want to really test that either. But I feel a lot better. Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to have to recut that one that I already sewed, which super sucks because I used a bobbin thread doing that. But, well. I knew something felt off about it, but it didn't click that I didn't trim them until it was too late. I thought I just must have sewed it wrong. to have that point so far away from the 1/4 inch, but nope, I just didn't follow the instructions. Ah, well. I gotta pay the price, which isn't too high of a price. All right. Do we have 4 of these hanging out here? Oh no, I sewed, that's right. These are doubled up over here. So we actually have 2 more to trim once I seam rip those ones. I like this itty bitty rotating mat. My mom has a larger one, but this one works so well in this itty bitty space. I like it. You know, here's my space right here. So this small cutting mat works great. All right, now my 1.5 inch. All right, so let's sew one of these, and you'll see the difference right away on, you know, I'll be able to aim for that point there now, and it should be at the 1/4 inch mark. So we'll sew, well, let's sew all of these. Let's sew all of them since they're here, and then we'll take off that one and seam rip it. So here's how these guys go, and again, we'll be flipping that piece onto the top. Poor dude. Yeah, look how much smaller this is compared to that. Ah, well. So now I am actually going to aim for that crossing point. There we go. There we go, right through that point. Should be about at the 1/4 inch mark. All right, let's keep going. Flip that up. Okay, going for that cross again. All right, pretty close to the point. And it's still sewing, which means we still bobbin. I'm pretty surprised. You know, a lot of thread does fit on that bobbin, but, you know, and we're really only using a couple inches in this small little world that we're in here. It's still surprising, though, I think. Alright, that's 3, and now we gotta seam ripper this dude. Boo! Alright, let's do that right here. I think you guys will be able to see a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Like, look how far away we are from that point. That's no good. We can see what it looks like here, too. When you're that far away at the point, you know, you got all this overlap here. What we're going for is that point is right here, so it matches with that line. Okay, let's just pull a little bit away. Let's snip that with the pointy side on the lower end here till we kind of get that going. All right, and once we have it going like that, then we can actually flip this around so the red, the ball side is down. This is easier when you have like a big seam that you can hold these apart, but I should be able to shimmy up this edge. You shouldn't have to pick these out one by one. There we go. You just shush up the edge. If you can keep tension at the bottom, that's good, but again, I'm working with these itty bitty pieces. Ooh, I think maybe I'm just getting bulky here. There we go. Sliding up. Again, you should not have to pick out each one of these. There. All this, luckily, all this will be hidden. All this little sewing marks because we have to trim these down and they'll be in the seam allowance. All right, that was, not too painful. Let's just trim these last two fellers and we're back in business. Throw that guy away, hopefully we won't need the seam ripper anymore. Man, I haven't had that guy out in a while. Ugh. Try to keep him at bay. So now that we've trimmed them at this stage, though, we shouldn't really have to trim them later. Like, they're supposed to, once we have these sewn together, they're supposed to measure 2.5 inches square. We shouldn't have to trim them to that. Like, this is our trimming time, so they should just be at that point. There we go. There, that seam that we picked out, that'll be in the seam allowance, so we won't even know. Won't know that this happened. Just trying to pick out extra thread there. I suppose that doesn't matter too much either. Let's cut that other side and we'll be ready for the last one. So again, we'll leave this one on the machine while we press the other ones. Okay, let's fold that one up. All right. Crisis averted. Unless we run out of bobbin right now. I think we have it still. Alright, I'm going to trim these 3 off. We'll press these. And then again, we're going to just leave that one on and we'll get it with whatever we sew next. Alright, let's press these. So I'm just looking at the instructions. It says to press towards that upper side. So pressing the seam allowance. So it's going upward like that. But here we go. So you can see that point touches the top point a whole lot nicer than it did before, that's for sure. Alright, so I'm going to place that darker one on top, give it a little press, and then press it in that direction. So this should measure the 2.5 inches square. We'll double check, but I'm hoping that's the case. Let's see. This is a 2.5 inch square, so it should be just like this ruler. And it is. Great. That's what I like to see. Agreed. Sally says, next to ripping out seams, changing the bobbin is the worst. Yeah. When you've been sewing for a long time and you haven't had bobbin that whole time, that super sucks. I have a special issue with this particular bobbin that when I wind the bobbin on this machine here, it just smooths out the wheel so much because it's just getting like burnished basically, with just like the quick movement on just spinning the bobbin. So then it doesn't go anymore. It won't grip on it. So I've been trying to wind it on my other machine, but none of my other machines have that size bobbin. Like it's that skinnier bobbin. So I kind of have to hold everything down so they don't fly off, and I don't have like a stopper. It's like all very weird. It just doesn't work well on the other machine either, and it's got to be plugged in a weird place. It's all just annoying. So, so I've been kind of holding off. So I think it's time to wind up the 3 bobbins that I have for this and just deal with it and just get it done. Well, I'm going to have to. Otherwise, we won't be sewing anymore. All right. I suspect we just start putting these together now. Yeah, so all right, let's lay this out. And again, I still have that one on the machine. Okay, the white points go towards the center. And then the white part of the flying geese unit also goes to the center. So like that and that and that. We'll do this one first. So we got basically our 9 patch here. That's basically, we have 9 pieces, and we have 3 rows and 3 columns. We're going to sew the rows together, and then we'll sew the 3 rows after that. So we're going to start with the first column. So we'll do the first column in row 1, the first and second column, and the first and second column in row 2, and then the first and second column in row 3. We'll have to get the guy off the machine, and then we'll go back around and sew that 3rd piece to all of them. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff to match up, though. We ideally want this point here to match up perfectly with this point here. So, I don't know. Should we try the pin method of doing that? It wouldn't hurt. And so why don't we get some Wonder Clips out and a pin. All right, so I use this method on foundation paper piecing a lot, but we're going to do it again here. So, in theory, you could just put these together and sew your 1/4 inch, and you're probably going to be just fine. But ideally, I want those points to match up perfectly. So I'm going to stick a needle from this side first, and the points kind of, you can see where it crosses. That's what we're aiming for. So I'm just going to try and get in the same spot, and we can flip it to the front. And yep, I'm right in that point. That's good. Okay, and we want to match it to this point here. So I'm going to go right into that point. There we go. So now I want to make sure that this is straight from all angles. I don't want it like shimmied like this, because then my points will shift. They'll be not right on top of each other. I want them right on top of each other, so I want a real straight pin. Let's line up our edge. I'm going to try not to line up my edge and see how straight the pin is yet. So pretty good. What about this angle? That looks good too. All right, so I'm going to throw a Wonder Clip right through there where my pin is, just to kind of hold that. Actually, you know what? The seams nest together here too. So we'll have the nested seams. So that's going to help us. There we go. We'll get that in there. And then we're going to sew and aim for that point as well. I think we're just going to do these one at a time. All right, let's go for it. Okay. Woo. So I think it was about right here we're aiming for. I think I'm a little far away there, but we'll see how we did. Okay. We'll see how we do next, but let's, we got this piece on here yet. Let's take this off and press it. Our last little piece, because we're working in a weird order here again. This is that one that we messed up. There, yeah. It was necessary that we retrimmed this, that we took it apart and retrimmed it, for sure. I know, Jennifer, me too. Jennifer says, praying that the bobbin lasts. Well, we really only have a few more minutes, so if we can sew like one more, we'll be good. Okay, so this guy goes down here. All right, so here, this one's easy. We don't have anything that we have to match up, so let's just flip this over and sew right along there. Good and easy. The less I have to match up, the better. It's still sewing. All right, let's take a peek. Oh, looking good. See, so that was the point we were trying to match, because we want this diagonal line to look like it just like locked into each other. All of these seams all meet at that point. So that was the goal right there. So I'm glad that worked. All right, so we have to do that again. Let's see, we'll just do it right here. Except for I lost my pin already. Did I put that away? I think I might have. Oh no, there it is. All right, so this is the bottom row. So we have the same thing. We got to match up that point there to that point there. So we're going to flip them and grab our pin. Let's just kind of see where that is to start out with. Okay, about right there. I'm going to check, but yeah, we didn't quite hit it. It's kind of a little higher and in. There, that's better. All right, and then we're going to go straight from the front through here, so that one's a bit easier. All right, and again, it looks like we should be able to nest our seams together. It looks like I cut a little close here on the seam allowance, so this one might not match up perfectly. All right, that seems pretty straight. Yeah, I think I just got a little short cut on this piece, so I'm going to let this dangle over the edge a little bit like that for the sake of trying to get these points to match. See where we end up there. All right. I always fling those off. I'm keeping the stiletto aimed at that point. Wow, I am impressed at our bobbin. I really am. Okay, so here's our second piece. Nothing special about that. Nothing had to line up. Okay, I'm going to actually grab the first row piece here. So that's where we had our matching point there. We need to do the same on this side again. So let's flip that over. Pin. Here we are. So where that crosses, that's where I'm going to go through. Check on the front. Okay, looking pretty good. And through that point here. Kind of line up the edges, and those seem about the same size, so we're pretty good there. And the seams are all kind of nested, which is great. Throw a pin in there, or the clip. Now here we actually have the seam. We can see it, so we can aim for that cross. I don't have to remember where it is. Oh, and you know what? There's our bobbin. So good timing. So we didn't actually get to sew this one. So I'm going to actually re-clip it. I'm just going to plop that clip back on. I don't think it's really moved. But there we go. Ran out of bobbin right there. Hey, but we went the whole hour. It's 9:30 just first right now. So let's take a look where we got here. So we started this one. That'll be our third row here. We got this and this guy here. How did we do there? Okay, not too shabby at matching up all those points either. That's looking pretty good. It's looking real good. just getting that diagonal, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So, all right. So I will thread some bobbins, or I will get some bobbins rolling, and then we'll be able to finish this up tomorrow. No problem. We got some pressing to do and all that, but yeah, great. So that'll be that for tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, like I said, we'll be stitching up. We'll be picking little characters from here, and you guys can help me pick which ones from either of these, and we'll make some gift tags. We'll stitch some up and maybe write like to and from on it, and yeah, I think that'd be fun. Some little gift taggies out of there. All right, so thanks again for joining me. Our little pieces are coming together. Oh man, I am proud of that bobbin. It just like stuck with us through the hour here, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah, so I'll get the other machine out. This guy back here, will use him to wind the bobbin. It's not pretty. I gotta hold everything down. It doesn't fit well, but it'll get the job done. It makes the bobbin pretty wonky too. It doesn't wind it real well. Like, it doesn't wind it like nice and tight and consistent. So it is what it is for right now. But I don't know. Maybe I should invest in a bobbin winder. I'm making enough bobbins lately with all these quilts that we're doing. So maybe it's worth investing in one of those. We'll see. Awesome, you guys. Thanks again for joining me. Just like a couple hours left on our supplies sale. So if you head over to the supplies section on Penguin and Fish, there's 20% off through the rest of the evening here till midnight. So check that out. That includes our giant cones of floss too. So thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.